Should Laurie and Michael both die? Well, I think as far as them both dying, I think that's predictable. I think everybody's expecting one or both of them to die. So I think they're going to go with the element of surprise. You know, I'll just say it right now. I think Myers is going to live. I do. I think Myers is going to live, and I think Laurie Strode, I think she's going to die, but I think they're going to try to handle it in a way that makes her still kind of look like the hero, if that makes sense. And thinking back to what he just said about Carpenter, what did he say about, he wants to honor Carpenter in this movie. And what has Carpenter stated many times in the past? Evil never dies. Evil never dies. That's why I don't think Myers will die in this movie. I think he will live because he is pretty much pure evil. And evil lives on. You know, there's going to be a big showdown at the end. And I think Michael's going to take some battle damage for sure. But I don't think you can kill Michael. There was this article. Matter of fact, I can show you this. And I'm not going to read it because I read through it earlier. And it pretty much states the same stuff. You know, it gives you the backstory of how... Don't you hate these articles where they're like 18 paragraphs long and 17 of the paragraphs give you the backstory, and then the actual title of the article, they give it in one little paragraph? It's kind of annoying. But they're basically saying, and this is Screen Rant, Halloween Ends will kill Michael Myers and Laurie. Theory explained. And then if you read the article, there's not really much of a theory. It's just a guess. I don't know. Laurie added that the curse of Michael is the fear he has seeded in Haddonfield, and he can't be defeated with brute force. However, there should still be a way to defeat Michael Myers. And with Karen now supposedly dead as well, the reboot timeline is hinting at the only way for Michael to be killed is with Laurie's dying as well. You have told me nothing. You have literally told me nothing, Screen Rant. What the fuck? Guys, did you get anything out of that? Because I got nothing. I got nothing out of it. They pretty much just recapped what happened. Karen died. So now he has to kill the... That means nothing. That means nothing if Laurie's the last person standing. They don't even mention Allison. How is that going to end Myers for good? You know, they don't talk anything about some kind of witchcraft or spell or anything. It's nothing. Laurie's revealed to be the man in black. Thank you very much, Horror Experience with Lily. Jesus. Are you guys pissed off like I am? Like, that pisses me off when you read through these freaking stupid articles. See, that's the thing, too. I'm curious to see how they're going to end this thing, because it's like 10 different things that you could do, and pretty much all 10 of them, you know, there's like a corner, a writing corner that they're getting themselves into. You know, the Halloween franchise, it's so hard to make an ending that really, really packs a punch. You know, most of the movies have kind of a similar ending. What Halloween 4 did can pretty much never be done again unless there's a crazy twist on it or something like that. And it was amazing. It worked for its time, but it's kind of one of those one and done type deals. Once you've done it, you can't do it again, you know? And if you do something like that, what are you going to do in the next movie? That's why they were in trouble with Halloween 5. After they did what they did in Halloween 4, it's awesome as it is. Gave me nightmares for years. Made me the Halloween fanatic that I am today. Still, you know, Halloween 5 was what it was partly because of that ending. So back to the question, should Laurie and Michael both die? My money's on Michael living and Laurie dying. And Laurie's still a hero. That's my money. That's what my money's on. And Michael is supernatural now. Will killing Laurie kill Myers? And that kind of goes back to what I just read. And that's something that's not really in that article. I kind of pulled it out of the article. Why would killing Laurie kill Myers? They're not siblings, but even if they were siblings, that still wouldn't kill him. You know? Like, that's the question that's making me rack my freaking brain. Like, how in the hell is that going to kill Myers? That makes no sense. Because Laurie has never been the target She wasn't the target in Halloween 2018. She wasn't the target in Halloween Kills. So she's not going to be the target in Ends. How in the hell is that going to kill Myers? I don't know. I have no idea. And maybe there's, maybe that is the situation. And I'm curious to see what they're going to come up with. Lindsay's fate. I'm really excited that Kyle Richards is coming back. For years and years and years and years, I always wondered what happened to Lindsay Wallace. And we all know Kyle Richards. She is the aunt of Paris Hilton, and I was just always curious to see her come back into the franchise because she can act. She actually did a pretty decent job as a child actor in the first movie, and she was probably one of my favorite parts of the Halloween Kills. I think she had something interesting to do in the movie. And she's one of the few characters that actually got some legit good hits on Myers when she put a bunch of rocks in a pillow sack or something like that. She should have put a bunch of Coke cans like Bad Boys. I think that would have taken him out. And Myers would have had a radio and he'd be walking around and then all of a sudden it would explode in his face. Have you guys seen Bad Boys? Not the one with Will Smith? Directed by Rick Rosenthal, who directed Halloween 2. We brought it back around. Did you see that? We brought it back around. Great movie, though. Sean Penn. Yeah. Yeah, and she does look great. She does look great. Kyle Richards. She's got that star appeal. This is the end. Should they go hog wild? Thorne, Samhain, Loomis, Danielle, Harris? Now, this is a question for you guys. Do you want them to introduce some of that wild shit that gets the franchise in trouble? I'm definitely looking straight at Halloween 4, 5, and 6 and the whole Thorne cult and everything. Those are like 3 of my favorite movies of the franchise. I love 4, 5, and 6 immensely. Especially 4 and 6. I have fun with 5. And there's some good stuff in 5. But 4 and 6, man, I adore those movies so much. And I'll even say this. Halloween 1 and 2 fit nicely in with 4, 5, and 6. Am I right on that, guys? There's still some of that creepy Samhain, witchcrafty type vibe stuff in 1 and 2. Remember, in part 2, he's in the high school. And there's Samhain in blood on the chalkboard. That fits right in with where they were going in 4, 5, and 6. Especially 6, leading all the way up to 6. I'm the Halloween fan that likes when they explore deeper into the supernatural and stuff like that. Really kind of throw caution to the wind with some of these story ideas. It seems like most people want the story to be just straightforward. Laurie Strode, Michael Myers, no supernatural aspect. To me, that's boring. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's one reason why I've always been against Laurie Strode, is because she kind of gets in the way of what I like about the franchise. What I like about the franchise, Laurie Strode has never really been a part of. I've always liked that mystery of Myers, that Samhain angle, and that ugly, dirty word that how dare I say it, Thorne. For some reason, when people think of Thorne, it brings forth just like a dirty vibe to it. We don't know. Don't go near that. Stay away from Thorne. And I think people always think that means they're going to give away too much. They're going to give away too much about his backstory. And, this is what people say about 6. And 6 has its problems. Don't get me wrong. I still love the movie immensely for going down that road. And to me, personally, I don't, especially in the theatrical cut, I don't think they really went too far. There's the one scene where Tommy Doyle is sitting at the computer and he explains the constellations. That's it. And for some reason, people freak out about that whole thing and they think they're giving away way too much. I think the producer's cut takes it way too far with the whole incest thing, and thank God the theatrical cut doesn't go down that road. So this is the stuff that gets me excited about Halloween. I've always loved when they dive deep into that freaking whole supernatural, Samhain, Thorn type shit. I love that stuff. Because to me, it's like the what if. What if there's more to him? To me, it opens doors for uncertainty. Whereas when you go down that straightforward path with just, cat and mouse, Michael and Laurie, and just a straightforward story, no supernatural, to me, you kind of, I don't know. I mean, it works because Myers is a blank slate. I get that. That's why the first movie works so well, because he is a blank slate. But I think you can have your cake and eat it too, as long as you do it the right way. And at the end of the day, I left 4 and I left 6 scared out of my mind. And isn't that what you want to do at the end of the day? And I left those movies so freaking curious about Myers. I was obsessed with the guy. And the reason I was obsessed with him is because of how scary they made him in those movies. At the end of 6, theatrical cut, when you see Loomis with Myers at the end of the movie, you just see the mask on the ground and you hear Loomis this yell. That sent chills down my freaking spine. It scared the crap out of me. There's a scene in Halloween 6 where he is having this showdown with why am I drawing a blank on her? Is it Tara? I'm drawing a blank on her freaking name. But she's she's fighting with him, and she's about to pull his mask off. And man, that scene, I remember just like, oh my God, what could be behind that mask? Remember there was a time when what was behind Myers' mask was like the scariest thing imaginable, and that doesn't exist anymore because we've seen Myers unmasked, quite a few times. Hell, in this new trilogy, we see him unmasked all the time. So that's gone pretty much. Because once it's out of the bag, then, Kara. Thank you very much, Destiny. Kara. And also Danielle Harris. Now, I've been listening to Talk Scary to Me, their podcast. And they've been asked a few times about coming back to the franchise. And Danielle Harris, swears up and down, no, nobody's reached out to her. It's not going to happen. But, couple things. Maybe it hasn't happened yet. Or thinking back to Andrew Garfield, who swore up and down. Like, I probably would have put Vegas money that he wasn't going to be in the movie. He was that convincing that he wasn't in No Way Home. We all saw what happened. So I hope I didn't spoil No Way Home for some of you guys. But yeah, I mean, I still have hope. I'm a Jamie Lloyd fan. I love the character so much, and man, if Jamie Lloyd showed up in Halloween Ends, maybe I'm alone here, and maybe it would just be my own little party. But man, I would go freaking nuts if Jamie Lloyd pops up in the third act of this movie. That would be insane to me. I would love that. So yeah, that'd be awesome for me. Now, the radio tower, is there a connection? I saw on Dave McCrae's thing, he was talking about this radio tower. I think there was an interview they were talking about. There's one of the scenes in the flashback from Halloween Kills where we see a radio tower and, setting off some beacon. Could there be something about that radio tower that comes back into play in Halloween Ends? I'm for it. I'm definitely for it because, again, that kind of ventures into that. There's a supernatural thing. It triggers something in him, and maybe there's like a supernatural aspect to it, and maybe there's more to it that we don't even know, which would be cool. Tiff says maybe someone will make a movie, continue the story of Part 4. I don't think it's happening in Ends. Yeah, you're probably right. Which is another question I was actually thinking too. Like, what if somebody actually approached Danielle Harris? Because fan films are pretty big right now. There's been some really great fan films coming out. And how cool would that be if they actually approached Danielle Harris and said, hey, let's make a Halloween movie. Let's get a lot of money behind it. And let's make a true, legit sequel to 4, you know? Or even 5. I'm telling you right now, there is a big enough fan base for, you know, Halloween 4, 5, and 6. I've seen it. There's people that love 4 to death. So I think there's a big enough fan base that a lot of people, if it was done well, that could make some good money. You know, that fan film, like, I think people would literally pay for it. You know, I'd probably pay like $5.99. I mean, like, would you guys do that? Like, if somebody made a legit studio quality fan film, Jamie Lloyd, 30 years later, would you pay $5.99 to rent it? Because I sure as hell would. You know, I sure as hell would. And I guess the question is, would she do that? Because if she did that, then would that mean the door is... Because I think Danielle Harris probably likes to think that the door is still cracked open just a little bit. Just a little bit. And if she did a fan film like that, would it shut the door for good? We kind of talked about this earlier, but 4 years later, the possibilities. You can't satisfy those that hated Kills... Or no, you can satisfy those that hated Kills as well as people that loved Kills, the fans. You know, that I think that's the big thing that you can get away with 4 years later. You can right a lot of wrongs, because I was a little worried about making ends on the same night as 2018 and Kills. That's packing a lot of story into 3 movies on one night. You know, not an easy feat to do, and it kind of closes some doors on things that you can do in a story, you know, because time plays a big part on some stories. I'll give you an example. Hawkins. One thing you knew watching Halloween Kills was Hawkins wasn't going to save the day. Because he was pretty much, he was fucked up pretty bad, all right? He was bedridden. And Jamie Lee Curtis, even though she did get up and she did walk, but I didn't think she was gonna like save the day or anything, you know. But especially Hawkins. So 4 years opens up a lot of possibilities. You don't have to get away from the hospital. You know, people have grown, and a lot of times too, like if there's been like a tragedy or something like that, it gives people time to grieve, time to heal. So 4 years would take care of that. It made me think of like When a Stranger Calls, and how it goes 7 years into the future, because at the beginning of the movie you find out that both the children are dead. So those parents would be freaking devastated. So if the parents played like a major part in the movie, it'd be hard to pick up right after that if they played a part in the movie. Going 7 years, it gives them time to move on with their lives. So that's kind of what it does for this movie. 4 years later, it gives everybody time to kind of settle down. Another example would be like 9/11. Remember, like after 9/11, man, it was a funk. Everybody was just in this heavy funk for years, even for a couple years. And every time we'd turn on the news, we'd see that footage of Ground Zero, and it would just bring it right back every time we'd watch it. And it was a tough event for the nation to get over. You know, it took quite a few years, maybe even more than 4. So an event like, you know, there was a freaking slaughter in Halloween Kills. This one guy killed a lot of people and he got away, you know. So even 4 years later, that's an impact on a town, because they all know that he's still out there, you know. Or do they know? Like, I'm wondering if the town of Haddonfield, you know, because you know how the news deals with information, and they get out to the public what needs to be gotten out to the public. So what if this is a situation where people think Michael Myers is dead? You know, I would not be surprised if that is a plot point in this, that most of the people of Haddonfield think he's dead and only a few people know that he's alive. I would not be surprised. And that would make for an interesting angle on the story too.